Today is my car's MOT. Let's hope it passes so that we can continue driving around on a Saturday going to random CEXs all around the country. But we're also going to go to Stafford CEX because, well, I'm not leaving the house around Stafford without going there because it's almost a requirement. While I'm here, while we're thinking about it though, let me put you guys onto a bit of an infinite voucher glitch right now at CEX. I don't know if it'll still be a thing by the time you see this video, but might as well point it out. So, right now, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered at Argos specifically is $21.99. That is significantly cheaper than at CEX. If you want this game at CEX, it's 50 great British pounds. Now then, let me just show you what CEX will give you for it should you wish to buy it from Argos and trade it directly into CEX. So they sell it for 50, but you can give it to them for a 33 quid voucher. So you can spend £21 and get yourself a £33 voucher back, which is a pretty good win. Speaking of getting vouchers back, today I am also going to take back my second Clock Tower 3. So, for a bit of context, for those that maybe didn't see the last video, I bought a Clock Tower 3 from CEX a few weeks ago, but I wasn't really very happy with how yellow the case was, but I dealt with it at the time, and have later just come to regret that. So this is that one. It's only in certain lights that you can see how yellow the case is. I'm hoping it's showing up on the video, because to my eyes right now it doesn't look abysmal, but I think sometimes it does. Anyway, it's the same price now as when I bought it. It hasn't changed at all. So what I'm going to do, or did, was I went to go and buy a second copy that is in better condition, and that one can live in my collection because it's fine, and I will use the receipt from that to return the original one. Them's my plans, guys. Them's my plans. So, got that to do. What else? What else? Oh yes, there was another mistake that I hope to rectify. They might not do it because it's been more than 48 hours, but you know, it is Stafford and they do tend to be nice to me, so we'll see. Tomb Raider Anniversary was a £5. I bought it and I didn't realise I already owned it because I bought it with the other Tomb Raider games up there, with Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness. So hopefully I can get me £5 back. I don't anticipate them giving me the cash back because CEX never does that. I don't know if you guys have ever actually returned anything to CEX. Trying to get money, like cash from CEX, is like trying to draw blood out of a stone. They're usually pretty happy to just throw it on a voucher though, because then the money stays within their ecosystem, and at the end of the day they're not really that arsed. And yeah, that's today's plans. So let's head out, shall we? You know, I always park really far away from everything to like protect the car and stuff, but I keep parking far enough away now that I end up parking where like instructors and learners do manoeuvres, and I feel like that kind of defeats the point. It's also very windy again. I don't know what's going on in England, although last night I did have a dream that it was snowing. I don't think we've quite had that for weird weather. Anyway, it's about 1 o'clock. Haven't heard anything about my car yet. It's been an hour. Neve said that when she had hers done it took like 2, so we'll see. Walking across CEX now, see you there. Hey guys, Cayle from the future here a few days after filming this. I have given a break to this CEX following on from this video because it has been a rather unsuccessful one. I spent a lot of time in Stafford CEX today and I just couldn't find anything I needed. Like no matter how much mental gymnastics I did around maybe buying something, there was nothing that I could find. But if you guys are after Mortal Kombat, this is definitely the CEX for you. And I think I said that in one of the more recent videos too, but this is even more so now because they didn't have Shaolin Monks before. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is a nostalgic one for me especially because I do believe that it was actually my very first Mortal Kombat game. It was very confusing to me to go from Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks to any of the other ones, because obviously it's the only 3D fighter and Mortal Kombat is not a 3D fighting series. Mortal Kombat is not a 3D fighting series, it's a 2D fighting series, so it was very strange, and I remember just wishing it was more like Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. And it would be nice if we could get one of those these days. I don't think you get many third person... Oh, there's another Haze. Good old Haze curse. Maybe I should have just bought that for the giggles of it. It's only £1. I've got a £2 voucher, in fact. I don't know if I remember to go on to say this later on in the video, but basically CEX wouldn't take my,
my messed up purchase back because it was outside the 48-hour window. So I just had to trade it in. So I lost like £2 on that, or £3 maybe, because I bought it for a fiver, give it back in for two. Whoopsie daisy, I suppose. At least it was a cheap mistake. Thankfully, you tend not to make big expensive mistakes like that, because if you did, you're more likely to remember the more expensive things that you own. Is what I'm saying. But as I was saying, you don't really get many games like Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks these days. You don't get many third-person action games that are not, in some way, shape, or form, a Souls-like. It feels like every third... Look at all these Pokemon games, by the way. We're on about things that I can't buy. I'd like those. I would, but not today. Those are the sort of things I'd like to go hunting for. It's always a bit of a shame when really expensive stuff pops up in my local, because I don't want it in my local. I want it to, I want to make a day of it. I want to make a day trip of going out, finding it in like a faraway CEX. I kind of enjoy doing that. The Last of Us Part 2, good old Infinite Money glitch that's been patched, and TikTok being like, oh, it'll get patched. I'm like, yeah, because if you expect any of these to be forever, then you're not paying attention in the first place to how anything works when it comes to price trends. Christ. But yeah, this was a bit of an anticlimactic one, I'm afraid, as I'll go on to explain in a moment, but it's been a few days.
Well, I'm home. It's been a few hours. Got my car back. It passed. Flying colours. I should hope so too, because get this. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the details, but so the mileage of this MOT was 35,700. Last year's MOT was 32,500, so I did 3,000 miles between MOTs. Year before that was 31,000 miles. So in 2 years, I've done 4,500. Year before that, I was 29,700. So in 4 years, my car has done just shy of 6,000 miles. Not bad. Near I am moaning about needing to fill up because it's been 10 days and apparently somehow I've used a full tank in the last while with all the different trips I've been doing. I nearly tripped over then the dishwasher. And they even gave us... Oh. They even gave us some little sweeties with my MOT. With my MOT, yeah. So, in case you're wondering what I got from CEX, I didn't get anything. There was nothing. I tried. I really spent ages. I could not find an excuse to buy anything that was in there. The only things that I would have wanted were those Pokemon games, but I'm not dropping hundreds of pounds today when that wasn't the purpose of the day. So, yeah, I don't... Whoops. Busy day though, I guess. So since that last video, I think, is it Summer Games Fest or something like that? I don't know. There's been a lot of games announced either way. And I'm very excited for the vast majority of them. A new Resident Evil game, a new Neo. That's all we really need, really. Like, pretty much all of my favourite franchises have got a new game coming out. Borderlands, Neo, Resident Evil 9. I can't believe we're at 9 again. Like, we're at the third entry into a trilogy. Because realistically, Resident Evil can kind of be broken down into 3 different eras. You've got like Resident Evils 1 through 3, then you've got 4, 5, and 6, and then you've had the first person ones. Now, we don't know if the new one's going to be third person, but it's probably a safe assumption. But it also looks like it isn't necessarily a sequel to 8, because obviously that whole story between 7 and 8 is kind of wrapped up for now, maybe, depending on if you count Rose. But either way, I'm sure it's going to be good, and I'm going to be playing it. Neo 3, that'll be incredible. I'm seeing people talking about, I hope it's open world. No, you don't. One of the best things about Neo is it being level based. I love that Neo is level based. I love a level based game. You don't get them all that frequently. It's not in modern day. Everything has to be seamless now. Loading screens are seen as like not a thing, but I can hear the loading screen music for Neo in my head right now. Or like, when you don't have a loading screen in a game, I think you can lose the ability to have a lot of the charm. Like, thinking of games through my childhood of different cool loading screens and the music that accompanies them and the art that you see on the screen. Think about some of the old Dragon Ball games that all had mini games in between their loading screens. Think about the loading screens for like Demon Souls and stuff like that. There are so many different games that have done loading screens well that, while seamlessness and all that sort of thing is cool, I don't think it's required to have a good game. Like, not every game has got to have you crawl through incredibly tight, narrow spaces like a God of War does to not break immersion, especially once you know that's what's happening. Once you crawl through a narrow gap the 300th time, it's like, yeah, this is a loading screen. This is what this is. What else has been announced? So we got. I'm sure there's other stuff. I basically just watched a quick synopsis. I'm not really bothered about a lot of the multiplayer stuff. Like Call of Duty lost me a long time ago. I played Black Ops 6 a little bit, but I can't do it because of the whole skill-based matchmaking thing. I used to think that maybe it's like my skill is gone, because I used to be really good at Call of Duty during like World at War until about Ghosts. There was like a 5-6 year window there where I was obsessed. I used to make it. I was the kid in school that everybody knew come November I was going to not be going to school because I was skiving to play Call of Duty. That's what I did every year. I was obsessed. I'd be trying to be 10th prestige prior to Christmas. It was an obsession. And then, I don't know. I used to think that maybe I just aged out and got old and was less good because of that. But then there have been times over the years where I've done entire prestiges on older Call of Duties just over the course of a week or so, just to have a bit of a fun. And it's just not been the same. Whereas these days, or it has been the same even, whereas these days, you play a Call of Duty, you have one good match, and then you get punished. And it's like, great. Although I'm not really sure we should have the skill-based matchmaking argument here, because I know that is one that can ruffle feathers, but I think generally my audience on here is old enough that they'd probably agree with me. I know for a fact, right? This is an interesting one. Is when I feel like when I talk to YouTube, I feel like I'm talking to a different audience than when I talk to like TikTok, because the YouTube audience generally skews way older than my TikTok audience. I know for a fact that if I was to talk about skill-based matchmaking on Call of Duty on TikTok, the comments would all just be "get good" because they don't really understand what they're saying because they're not smart enough. It would all be young people whose first Call of Duty was like, I don't know, Cold War? At this point, no, not even that. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 is 6 years ago. Like, it has been a long time now since that golden era of Call of Duty. Like, if you consider the golden era of Call of Duty to have ended after, say, Black Ops 2, a lot of people would say that, like, Ghosts derailed everything. And then once we got the 3D movement, once that really derailed everything, and then with Warzone and things like that, there's a bit of a resurgence. But again, that wasn't like my Call of Duty in the way that I know Call of Duty. So Call of Duty for me's golden era was World at War, although I recognise COD 4 is also amazing, but I was just too young for Call of Duty 4. It wasn't my first year. My first year with Call of Duty was World at War. And then Modern Warfare 2 was like the highlight. It's interesting how when you're a kid, a year feels like a lot longer than it does when you're an adult. Because the time I spent playing Modern Warfare 2 online feels like a lifetime, feels like an eon. But it was probably literally about 8 months in reality. It can't have been anything actually long. But, you know, the greater proportion of your life a time span is, the more significant it feels. Like a year when you're nearly 30 doesn't, you blink and it's like, yeah, whatever, it's just another year. But a year when you're like 11, it's like, that's a tenth of your life near enough. So yeah, I was about to say, oh, we got nostalgic all of a sudden, but then this entire account's point is just me talking about nostalgia, isn't it? I just can't stop talking about nostalgia. Although an interesting one is, I returned the Michigan Report from Hell, the fake game. Well, I did a video on TikTok yesterday because I noticed that it's now back in stock. And now I don't know for sure that it was the same copy that I sent back that was back in stock, but it's too much of a coincidence for it to likely not be, because it was back in Sheffield CEX. Because I know that what will have happened is I took my game to Stafford, they agreed, yes, it's fake, they refunded me, and then they shipped it back off to Sheffield, because Sheffield are the ones that have to take the rap for what mistake was made. That's always the way that works, is the rap is taken by the people that made the sale, not the people that it gets returned to, because that's not fair. Anyway, I noticed that it was back in stock, and I made a video about it being back in stock, and I was like, it's very dodgy if they have knowingly put it back in stock when they know it's not real. And the video has blown right up. It's done about 200,000 views. And now both Michigan Report from Hells that were in stock are out of stock. And I know for a fact the one at Doncaster was fake as well, because I messaged CEX Doncaster and they told me it was. They told me it was the same thing where they've got a reason to believe that the front cover has once again been recreated, and it's not recreated by CEX, it's being recreated by someone else, which makes it even less legit. Like, for example, if the one that they have taken from me, they reprinted the cover and stuck a reprinted cover in the corner for, at least then they're not like fooling anybody. Whereas the one that I gave back, they could be fooling people with. Anyway, woke up today, went to check the stock again because I check every day, and both of them are out of stock. Now, there's two eventualities here. They have either A, pulled them both from the shelves out of stock because they're fake, because of the video blowing up, or B, as a result of the video blowing up, someone's bought them to check themselves and have a look if they're the real ones or not. And they are not likely to be. The one from Doncaster definitely isn't, and the one from Sheffield is quite likely to have been the one that I returned, because that's the one I got from Sheffield. And the game's so uncommon that it's never in stock otherwise. But right now, when it comes to the PlayStation 2 rarity stuff, there's a ton of stuff that just isn't in stock anyway. Like, there are no Kuons. Manual or no manual, you can't buy a Kuon right now. Anyway, that's a bit of a 8-minute ramble about games. I don't feel like I talk about games enough. I want to have like a bit of a section just talking about games more frequently. See you in a bit though.